Good morning. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, a comic book artist of 25 years, and just sitting here in my office looking through the portfolio of a fellow named John. It's a very impressive portfolio, so I think we should review it brutally and honestly and see what we can glean from it. This is our 10th brutally honest portfolio review. So that's pretty cool. We made it to double digits. Brutally honest portfolio review. So if this is your first one, if this is the first one that you've watched, let's explain. It is my feeling from being in comics for many years that people who review portfolios, professionals who review them at conventions, are mostly there to look for people who are ready to go. If you can find the next Travis Charest floating around at a convention in Florida, that's an ideal situation. But very few of us are Travis Charest, and most people are drawing for a hobby, or they're drawing with the hopes of someday working in comics, and there's some things that need to be ironed out and some lessons that need to be learned. I am by no means a teacher. I'm just somebody who's been doing this for a while, and I'm able to hopefully impart what I've learned to you. I'm going to do what those comic professionals at conventions won't do, which is to take the time to honestly evaluate your portfolio and perhaps even go so far as to redraw things that need to be redrawn, and show you areas that are in need of improvement. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do it not worrying about your feelings. One of the things about sending me your portfolio, and I have quite a few that are piled up here for me to go through, but I could still use many more. Please do send me your portfolio to either my Twitter DM, I am at Ethan Van Sciver, or you can email it to me at Ethan, ETHAN 12032 at gmail.com. And I will pick one at random. I'll try to do one of these every single day, so eventually I will get to yours. The whole thing about this is to not worry about your feelings. It's to just be honest with you, and if you do send me your portfolio, it's under the proviso that you are an adult, you're maybe 20 years or older, you have thick skin, and you're here to learn. You're not going to get upset with me and say, oh, he was too mean to me or too rude. I don't mean to be mean or rude or hurt anyone's feelings. My entire purpose here is to be instructive to you and to the audience that watches these videos. So with that having been said, let me introduce you to John, who sent me this beautiful portfolio of 5 pages of sequential comic book art. And let's take a look at it. Take it away, John. So let's reduce this down and take a look at this whole first page that he sent. One thing that really struck me about John right away is that he really goes to the effort. I don't know if he's using photo reference. He must be. He must be getting inspiration from photo reference and real people, because this is dynamite. You have this audience sitting in the pews of a church, a little church, and everyone is distinctive. It's fantastic that, you have this woman here. Look at this. This is wonderful. Next to this man, you've got these 2 girls here. You've got this guy. Everyone looks different. Everyone looks unique. Everyone's behaving. They're not perfectly drawn. We do have some perspective problems. I see that he has done perspective lines here, so he is attempting to utilize perspective. But he's not quite sure of what he's doing here. And I could work this stuff out. This panel in particular, gosh darn, John, I'm looking at the picture on the wall. First of all, I'm looking at the pews, and I'm noticing that the space for these people to sit in, essentially these pews are so close together that this man has to be standing, and he's literally sandwiched between the headboards or the backboards of these pews. Like, this is touching his chest, and that is touching his back, and he's slid into there. These pews, there's no distance between them for someone to sit their butt down and for their legs to go underneath it, and that is a perspective problem. That's bad. This photo or this picture on the wall here is very unusual. I mean, I guess he's trying to. Oh, look at this. Is interesting, guys. We're going to go through this, and I'm going to show you what he did wrong here. And then you've got, if you look out the window, you've got this fence that's going off at this weird angle here. All right, so this is almost entirely a horizon line issue. John has placed the horizon line in a very strange place. He seems to. Wait a second. No. Am I wrong? Yeah. But then what is this? Oh, we got to redraw this panel. All right, we got to redraw. Because his horizon line is up here, which is probably about right. At first I thought it was low for some reason. But no. He's got it up here. He's just got everything. Oh, is it the... All right. I'll stop stammering and let's redraw this panel. So John wants to show kind of we're standing up. Our perspective is that we're kind of in the aisle and standing up and walking past these people who are sitting in these pews, and yet we can see out the window, and I think he wants us to see the yard. Let's see, this panel is kind of shaped like this, more or less. Let me see if I can raise this up a bit. I got a new iPhone holder here because the other one broke. I've been bending it around so much. Yeah. All right, so here's where we're at. Now, probably, let's flip up and look at it again here. John wants his horizon line to be up here. And John also wants to cram all these people in the pew. He wants to be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of people. It's a challenge. I'm going to draw our horizon line right up here. Okay. And I am going to put one vanishing point right here. And I'm going to put the other one right back here. And we're going to see what happens. I'll do a quick grid. We'll have one vertical line here. We'll decide that they're going to be parallel. If you don't know perspective yet, please do go back and watch my perspective videos. This is going to be a 2-point perspective. That's what John was going for. And we'll see what's up here. All right. We're going to just draw this grid in. I'm going to do this nice and big and loose. You can do a perspective grid that's much tighter if that's helpful to you. That just means, more lines. It's not really necessary though at this stage. You're just trying to see the actual, the depth of the perspective grid that you have established. So as long as you put down enough lines to really grasp the three-dimensional space that you're creating, that's good enough. And John's going to be a little disappointed too, because I'm not sure. If you look at what he's done, it's interesting. It's like you get to see big heads here. You get a lot of people in here, and I'm just not sure that we're going to be able to accomplish the amount of people that he's gotten in there in the shape of a panel, in the size of a panel, as well as the kind of interesting scope of sizes of people. Like you've got this nice kind of foreground and then these people way in the background. Now, can we get 5 rows of people and still make this work? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, so we're going to do some pews, and what we're going to need to do is decide where they're going to be. I think John has them right about here on the panel. This is the outer edge, and then we're going to decide that this is the back seat of the pew that is closest to us, right here. And we've got this, okay, so we're doing this woman's head. Now we've got to establish where she is compared to the horizon line. If she's sitting here, okay, and she's looking over at her little one. All right. And here's her kid. We can get him in there just like that. And then we can't really get, he's got her sister crammed like they're attached to each other here. That's not going to work. We don't have the room for that. Her shoulder is going to be here. And that's about the best we could do. See, it's better, it's more interesting to do what he does, but it just defies all the rules of space. I mean, there's another arm of a person right next to here. This woman is probably 2 inches thick to squeeze into this space. As much as we want to cram people in, there just isn't going to be room to do that. So we know now that this woman is, let's see here, we'll actually measure it, okay? So this woman her head is about 1.5 inches tall, all right? So we can go up here and then go 1.5, and then we find that she is about 1.5 heads from the horizon line, which is right here. I'll reiterate that. Now she's a woman, and so she's going to be smaller, probably shorter than a man, and maybe even by that whole half of a head size here. But we know that this man, sitting right here, he's sitting down, is going to relate to the horizon line the same way she does. But he's going to be tall. This man is clearly bigger than she is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract this extra head, half a head right here, and I'm going to say that when he is sitting in his pew, he is going to be 1 entire head down from the horizon line. Okay? So let's draw his pew and let us allow room for him to kind of sit. And I'm afraid, John, that the next pew is going to be maybe right back here. Give it a nice kind of slant. You see that now? That provides more room for a human being to kind of sit. All right, so this gentleman is going to be bigger than her. Let's say right about here. You can see now he is 1 head from the horizon line as he sits very comfortably in his pew. Okay, and he's looking forward. He's got his mother maybe next to him, an older woman. She's going to be shorter than him, so we'll go ahead and we'll make her 1.5 heads. We'll start her head right down here from the horizon line. And people have asked, they say, well, what about, you talk about relationships to the horizon line in terms of if they're beneath the horizon line, if the horizon line is above, it's higher in the panel so that we're looking down on people. How do you account for people being different heights? Well, it's very simple. I mean, we're just going to start with this woman, and we assume that this woman is maybe 5'6". People who are taller than her, and she is 1.5 heads from the horizon line. People that are taller than her are going to be closer to, or fewer heads from the horizon line going down than she is, just because they are taller than her. So if she is 1.5 heads, this man, who's probably 6'2", is going to be maybe 1 head from the horizon line. That automatically makes him look taller in the picture. Here's his necktie. He's sitting there very dignified in his pew. Here's his mother sitting next to him. I mean, we could, as you can see, that there's a little girl sitting next to him. It's possible that we could go ahead and extend this pew out a little bit more. And we'll say, hey, the line for the pew is right here. Same pew a lot. Pew, pew. All right. There you go. And that's just fine. And then we can actually put a little girl here, and she's obviously going to be even smaller. All right. And then we're going to have to find the next pew. which I believe will be right about here. Pop that in behind them. Okay. And then the next row of people, let's see, we've got, oh, they're just, yeah, I mean, there's just an old man sitting. This is just way too many rows for the space that we are, trying to create here. Let's give him a little bit of height as well. Put some glasses on him. There he is sitting there. We'll give him another person next to him, a woman, so smaller. And another row, one more row probably. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't realize, it's like this is the line, this line leading back to the horizon line. This represents the edge of the pews. So we know they're all fitting into, all the pews are meeting that line, okay? So there's a slightly more realistic look at that. Now let's look at the window. There's a kind of big churchy window right next to, right against the wall there. So we can easily work that bad boy in. No problem. Okay, and we're going to use our vanishing point right here to create the window pane that he wants. Okay, now we're now looking out the window. We got a little thing on the wall here. That's just fine. Okay, so we've created this window. We're looking out the window. By the way, we'd see the edge of the window because we're looking that way. Okay, so we'd see that. And we know where the horizon line is. This is the horizon. Isn't that cool? So I mean, looking out the window, we'd know that this is all land right here, and this is sky. He wants a tree and a fence. All right, well, that's fine. The fence would not be sitting on the horizon line. It just wouldn't be sitting on the horizon line. The fence, if he wants it, I don't even understand why it's going this way. That's very confusing. Seems to be, there's another vanishing point down here that he kind of invented. John, you've got to stick with your vanishing points. All right, so if we want a fence, that is, okay, so you see that this is the wall. If we want a fence that's kind of parallel to this wall, we've got to use the same vanishing point. So we would go out here, and let's just plant a fence. Let's say the ground of the fence is right here. This is where the fence meets the ground. Okay, and we can put, unfortunately, the window kind of pane cuts right through it a little bit. But here, more or less, is the fence that you're looking for. Right out there, this would be all, oh, look, it's flowers. They've planted flowers. Yeah, they've done that. And you want a tree? That's cool. We can just put a tree right here. Out at the horizon, you might see farmland. You might see businesses, very small out there, kind of silhouetted in the background. There's some distance. This seems to be kind of a rural area. So we've got, yeah, sure, let's put leaves and a tree right outside. That is just fine. All right. Let's get rid of these excess lines. And there is the layout for the panel. This now allows people their space to sit. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to get the wonderful amount of people that you wanted to have in your panel. You're just not going to be able to see them all. But now they are comfortable, and it seems to be a little bit more of a realistic space. Okay, very good. And don't get me wrong. This is all. I mean, it's beautifully rendered. There's a lot of imagination and thought in it. But perspective is a serious thing. You really want to create a realistic world for your people. I like this panel here a lot. We're having difficulty drawing this angle of a face here, obviously. You've got to keep in mind skulls. Again, I mean, if you want to show a woman who is sitting but you're kind of looking up at her, let's remember that a skull is built kind of like a light bulb shape here, but this is the round part of the skull, and then this is kind of the... Alright, you want to build it out like this. So if you want to show her and you want to look up at her in that way, let's just kind of draw these lines to kind of show where the eye is, where the nose is, where the mouth is. Alright. And we're just going to kind of work these features in. Looks like her eyes are closed. We're going to see a lot more of her upper lip because we're now looking up at her. Okay. Then we're going to see of her lower lip. Her lower lip is going to kind of become smaller now because we're seeing under it, like so. We're going to see a little bit of nostril, but not too much. We're going to see up into the hollow of her eye. We're going to see a lot of undersides of things, right? So you see under her lip, under her nose, inside her orbital cavity there. Okay. Her ear, which is covered by hair. By the way, see this jawline here? So we're leaving this kind of space open right here. This is open because we're seeing underneath of it. All right, and then let's bring her hair down to cover up. Her ear would be right here, but we're covering her ear. Let's make sure that we do not do violence to the shape of her head now with her hairline, with where her hair falls. Okay. Hair on the other side as well. And that would kind of be, and make the chin a little smaller there. But that's kind of, if you want to look up, just a slight angle of up at a woman's face who was kind of praying in church. All right. And just make sure that you don't make it too small, make the head too small. Just trying to keep the proportions good. All right. Yeah, I like your work, John. I think you have a lot of potential. This panel I have absolutely no issue with. This is fantastic. I love this preacher. I love his shadow. I love this that's going on. The perspective is pretty good. I have a little issue. It looks like you lost it a little bit over here. This runs on a little bit too long on this side of the stage, and I can't really see where it ends. Yeah, you're missing kind of a line right there. Oh, this window, yeah, is wacky too. Oh, what are you doing? All right, we got it. John, you're so close, and you're driving me nuts because you're making a few basic mistakes here. You've got a vanishing point over here. What's up with this window? This window sill, this pane right here would be up around here, and you've got it aiming down. Do you have? It's almost like, oh, look, is it following the? Are you following the wrong? Oh, John. All right, so this wall here should be following the perspective from the vanishing point over here, and for some reason with this window, you're following a vanishing point over here, I think, with this cross. If you look, you see, you can't do that. You spoiled the illusion of this plane right here. being connected to the same vanishing point over here. That's what's gone wrong there. That's good. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, you just blew it with the window. You destroyed that whole illusion. Fix that. That's quick. That's a quick fix. A little whiteout. But I love this preacher. Really, really do. All right, let's turn the page. All right, we've got, oh, look at this. This is just terrific. Good. Horizon line. You can see the horizon line here, and it's cutting through everybody at around chin level. All these women, okay, so they're around the same height. They're kind of smaller than this man who is towering above them a little bit. This is perfect. That's about right, except for these children running in the background who are now being cut across the waist by the horizon line. No, John. If the women are being cut through the chins by the horizon line, these boys playing in the background would be cut through the top of their heads, maybe. I mean, they would be down here in relationship to the horizon. So that spoils it there. I like everyone's acting. I think that's terrific. We've got some boys looking at an iPhone. It looks like they see this woman naked. I don't know. Now I want to know about this story. Okay. She goes home. Let's check this out. John's biggest problem, I really like his detail work. His biggest problem is he almost gets perspective and then he blows it at the last minute. Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of thing here. It's the same kind of wonky perspective that's happening. It's close. This is good. Her coming in the house. Simple 1-point perspective. Nice silhouette work. I feel like I feel like continuing her silhouette from this panel to this panel is problematic. I hate to use that word. I wouldn't do this. If this woman is silhouetted here in the foreground, because we can't see her because she's about to turn on the lights, I think I would show her here. I think I would show her. She's not in the darkness. She is. So I think I would actually show her, and then when she flips on the lights, then this goes from black to lit up, and then we can see the details of this woman smoking. I love this. I love the little cigarette that's lit up here. This is great. Look, all the pictures on the wall. Fantastic. Perspective problems. But so much fun to look at. This is my favorite panel in everything that you've shown so far. I have no complaint about this. I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't say so. I really love them eating. I love the detail of what they're eating. I love the oxygen tank in the wheelchair. That is so beautifully drawn. I love all the pictures on the wall and all the knickknacks and all the plants. You really, truly get a sense of place here. It's got so much personality and life. The way they're acting as they're eating really says a lot. It tells a good story. So much story just in this one panel, John, and it must have taken forever. I can see all the little scratchy kind of miniature cross-hatching that you've done here to set up textures. And it's a beautiful wealth of textures that you've created with your pen. You've got the nice solid blacks. You've got these wood designs. You've got this nice kind of light, streaky kind of gray. The texture that you use to show that this is shiny and hard metal is dynamite. You've done the paintings with various cross-hatchings. This is primo. This is great, John. Great work. More of this. And I know you're probably thinking, as I say more of this, oh no, I can't do more of this. This took me probably an entire day. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Yeah, this is good. I don't like this big set of lines here. I think it's a little distracting, but not bad. Work on your tapestry and clothing and cloth. None of this is believable. Photo reference, because very few people can do this out of their heads. There are people who can. I can't. I need photo reference to do this myself. She lies down, and her nose, you lose it. There's something about you drawing women. Yeah, there are a lot of problems here. But the nose just kills me right away. That is a strange shape on this woman's face here. Unacceptable. You can fix that. Remember that no matter what, you've got to keep measuring distances. And I know it's tempting because your brain is telling you to do one thing, and basic math, measurement, science are telling you, are trying to tell you to do it the other way, the way that's right. And it might not feel right when you're drawing it, but I know you want to show both nostrils like this. I know you want to show the underside of the nose, and then all of this and all this. But now look what you've done. You've given her a pig snout. Should I redraw or no? I don't know. I've done 2 redraws. All right, let's do a redraw. I'll flip this over. All right, so she's lying down on the bed. Once again, we do want to recall, and everything seems to be kind of drawing heads. That seems to be the problem people have. We do want to remember skull. Always remember the skull. If you can draw a skull, then you are going to be in fine shape. You can draw a human head from any angle. All right, so we're looking up at her a little bit. So let's put this line right across here. Let's find where her nose is going to be right there. And then let's also remember where her mouth is going to be, and it's going to be about right there. All right. And we know, you can also just kind of, you can even start sketching in very lightly, her orbital cavity, right. So you can see where her eyes are going to be. They're going to be set within these 2 empty spaces. We can draw kind of a triangular shape right here to find where her nose is going to be. All right. And then we know that her mouth, this is like, all right, so if it were a skull, you'd see her teeth right here, set right against this line, like so. And this is her cheek. See that? So you know where her mouth is going to be. All right, so she's sleeping. We're going to close her eyes. Eyelids come down low. Like if her eye were open, it would be, here's her pupil right there, but the eyelid closes down low over that. And yeah, give her a nice eyebrow. Do the same thing here. Eyebrow. Okay. And then let's just follow this sweep from here down, and let's find the kind of tip of her nose right about here. All right. And now let's find where her nostrils would be and how much of them we would see. And we wouldn't see very, very much of them. We'd see them. We'd see the underside of her nose. But it's going to look a little bit like this. Okay. And we want to make sure that we maintain that distance between her nose and her mouth, her lips. So we know her mouth line is right about here. Okay. As she sleeps. And we know we've got to have room for her nasal labial trough. That's what it's called. I love that word. Right there. And use that as measurement. Just remember this kind of shape here is going to really demand the distance between the tip of the nose and her lips, the top of her lips. You see how like her lips, like the kind of bow of her lips cradle that trough there, like so. And so we know we can do the math and we can connect the lips, the upper lip, to the mouth, like so. All right. Oh, she's smiling. I'm sorry, she's having a nice dream. We'll go ahead and just turn up one corner of her mouth here. No problem. And we're looking up at her. So once again, we're going to diminish the lower lip a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, if we were looking down at her the other way, and we wouldn't see the nostrils, and we would see less of the upper lip and more of the lower lip. But because we're looking up at her and we can see kind of up beneath her chin a little bit, we're going to see more of the upper lip and less of the lower lip. All right. Let's find her cheekbone on one side, which will come down. And connect with the chin, like so. And let's find the other side of her jaw. Bring that around. And let us recall, we're going to have this space underneath. Okay. And her ear is going to be right about here, because it connects with the other side of her jaw. Looks like she's got a nice strand of hair like this. And boy, he had fun with her hair. This is pretty cool. I like what he's done. When she's lying down, her hair is kind of gone all over the place. And that is really cool and fun to do. All right. The neck is going to come out of the back of the skull. And this is the kind of thing also, this kind of panel, you can get your wife or your friend to pose for you. It's pretty simple. You might find it difficult to get your wife to do super heroic poses for you, but they'll definitely do things like this. This is no problem. Okay. All right, so I think that would be a more accurate kind of construction of her face there. Yeah, I mean the major tell here is the nose just needs help really bad, and there's too much forehead here. The fact that you are looking up at her also is going to diminish the size of her forehead. You're going to see less of that because it recedes away from your eye line, which is kind of down here a little bit more. All right, very good. So is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. John, great work. Very, very pleased. What do we need to work on? So we need to work on our sense of space. We do need to work on our perspective, which you are attempting to use. Now, I've said this over and over and over again on these portfolio reviews. I've said very clearly that I would much rather see someone get the right image but do it wrong than do an easy image perfectly that doesn't tell the story. John, you're my hero, you're my friend. You are a star pupil because you are doing exactly that. You're saying, I intend to work really hard to show the right image. I'm just making some basic mistakes as I attempt to do it. Those mistakes can be corrected quite easily, as I just showed you. It's this willingness to actually go the extra mile to tell the story properly. I mean, just in the acting of these characters, this tells a story. This is a good, believable story full of believable puppets, quote unquote. Remember, I call the way people draw their own characters puppets. Believable puppets who all inhabit a believable environment and have their own integrity. This right here, it kind of points the direction towards where you're going, your future. That used to happen to me a lot early on in my career. Like, even if an entire book, if 80% of a book that I drew wasn't very good, in all my early books, there's like one panel that kind of points the direction to the future. It's like, this is where he's going. This might be where he is now, but this panel suggests where he's going in the future. He is going to improve. There is something going on behind the scenes here. It's not just all consistently mediocre. There's something in there that's excellent. John, this is your future right here. This is excellent. And I think this is an entire book that looks as profoundly wonderful as this panel is coming from you. I do believe that would happen in the future. This is very impressive. I would be proud if I drew this. I'd be very pleased if that were my work. And so I want you to be pleased as well. Work on your perspective. Please go over my videos again. If you have questions, ask me those questions. I will try to do more perspective videos. I feel like, the horizon line is just such a basic fundamental issue that people kind of gloss over. People who are trying to instruct others in perspective, you have to start with the horizon line. But I think a failing of a lot of teachers is just assuming that the horizon line is basic and makes sense to everyone. And it doesn't. It's so profoundly important. Just to say the horizon line is where the earth meets the sky and it's your eye line. Those are two very simple things, but then you have to explain to people carefully what that means and how to apply that concept to their drawing. And so I have been going over horizon line over and over again in videos. I will probably do like 2 more horizon line videos, and then we're going to have to just keep hammering home. 1-point perspective is something that people tend to be able to utilize pretty easily, but 2-point perspective seems to be tricky, and it seems to be where you're tripping up in a few places. So I'm going to have to do more 2-point perspective. 3-point perspective is just, I'll do more of it, but it's just a show-offy kind of a thing. 2-point perspective is vital in comic book art, so I will do more of that definitely. And thanks to these portfolios that I'm reviewing, I'm really seeing where people's trouble is and where I need to spend more time. John, very, very happy with your portfolio, and I hope you are too. Everyone watching, thank you so much for spending this 41 minutes with me and John talking about his work. I hope you gleaned something from it. Please do, and do not be afraid. If you're an adult who, well, should I say do not be afraid? I shouldn't say that. Don't hesitate to send me your portfolio if you have thick skin, if you want it to be gone over the way I've gone over John's. If your feelings aren't going to get hurt, and if you want to learn, if you're serious about this, send me your portfolio for review. I will make a video of it as time permits, and I will see you guys again really soon. Patreon starts today officially. If you are not a Patreon member, it is going to be the place where I put up all Rainbow Brute artwork from here on out. So that will be the exclusive purview of my patrons. They'll get to see a little Rainbow Brute story that's going to go on. And let's see what else. Thank you to everyone for super chats. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking videos. Even if you can't afford to be a patron or to send me a super chat, you can help this channel just as much if you will just go through and like all my videos. Just click like on all of them. Watch them if you can. And, that kind of thing really helps the algorithm, and it helps this channel grow. So I thank you all. And I will see you again a little later on today for, I think we're going to do... we'll do some more drawing videos. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.